Well, happy 4th of July and welcome to the Alan Osborne Show. We're about to light up the fireworks on the 4th today. And what are we going to light it up with? With an internal and still incomplete audit. It's not complete if you read it correctly, just on what they could find and what they could gather. So here we are with a shit show we call the BCC. Happy 4th of July. Let the explosions start. You remember when old Beanpole Barker right there behind me? You remember when he said we need to let them manage the county business? Well, there's an internal report out, and most of you that are watching this have probably read it. It's an internal report of the purchasing cards for the BCC. Yes, this is how your elected officials deal with your money. You know how they deal with your money? They don't care. They want more tax money and they don't want any accountability, because the transparency in this report is evident that the people who get elected think that their election by the people is permission to break the law, to break the rules, the policies, and even Florida statutes. So what does that say when three of these guys spent most of their life in law enforcement, but they are okay with breaking the rules because the rules don't apply to them? Isn't that what's wrong in America and the political politics of America? Do as I say, not as I do, or I'll keep taking all your money from you. That's the tax and spend non-conservative BCC behind us. You guys need to read through this report if you want to see something. It's an internal report, and you need to ask yourself these questions. If this was done so long ago and there's going to be no criminal charges by the state attorney's office, why did he hold it to make sure that Danny had no opponents? Why was it released as soon as they were sure? Because this was an insider deals with the ex-state attorney, Bill Edmonds. Cindy Meadows dropped out of that race. She probably would have stayed if she'd have known how dirty it was, but let's go over that. Danny Glidewell, who beat around this county in a little old car, he said to save gas when he was galling games and not waste his money. Well, he likes wasting yours at golf resorts. In fact, his charges include hundreds and hundreds of dollars at golf courses and hotel rooms and upgrades on planes. And it looks like he may even flown some family members on the county bill and luggage, and Boots buys liquor on the county purchasing card. Let me tell you something, folks. Giles Galloway said that, the county can't operate because they're under this intense scrutiny. Listen, I worked for the federal government for about 35 years. And when they came in to audit us, there was no warning, there was no anything. And if you didn't produce the receipts, you weren't getting paid and you may be in trouble. This is page after page after page, thousands and thousands of dollars in hotels and rooms and unaccountable stuff, buying stuff they're not supposed to with it, and they know it, and violating Florida statute. I mean, the report says right in here, and I'm going to do something I rarely do because I can't find my good glasses, is it says they violated Florida statute 112.061, and that they'll furnish a receipts for all these expenses, but they don't. I mean, this thing is absolutely horrible. And the most horrible thing is, go back and watch the firing of Dee Dee Highnote. Now, I'm not defending Dee Dee. She knew she was doing wrong and they should have fired her. She knew a lot of stuff and still does and won't tell. And that's why, in my opinion, she should have been fired, because she was covering up. But whether she was or not, Dee Dee's violations that we know about look minor compared to the 5 people who fired her. Go back, watch that video, and watch y'all Trey grab his belt buckle and lean forward and say, boys, you knew what we got to do. Well, if you knew what you had to do in firing Dee Dee, then at a minimum, I think Danny, Barker, Boots, the worst violators who violated policy and Florida statute, and possibly Nick, any of them, you guys should resign, because what's good for the goose is good for the gander. And if you fired Dee Dee's happy hind end because you said she didn't know how to act, well, Lord, what example did she have? You five fools? This is nuts. 30-some years in law enforcement, or 25 years for some of you. Y'all can't think with the head between your shoulders, and you spin like you found somebody's wallet or lottery ticket. You guys are awful. This is ridiculous, and all of us should show up at the BCC and demand accountability. Every penny that wasn't followed back correctly, whether it was a right bill or not, because you did it wrong, you should have to pay the money back. And what are these extra days of first-class hotels? I hope somebody finds out who Nick had with him. Look at Scott Brannon and Gary Madison over in Trey Nick's vehicles. Where are they driving all day long? And what's their accountability? Look, these fools right here are living off of you, and that's how they live. Live like there's no tomorrow, like Tim McGraw said, because they're on our dime. And what's Fat Ass going to do about it? Nothing. He's not going to do a damn thing because his cousin was helping cover it up. Him and Bill Evans at the state attorney. This stuff just never stops. But here's what it's time for. We need a forensic outside audit, and we need to get a petition up for the governor. We need planning, the BCC, code enforcement, the tax collector's office. Yeah, I understood they just fired somebody in there too because the person might have been trying to do the right thing. We just can't put up with this anymore. You see it all around us in Bay County, them holding people. Why not Walton County? Why are they not being held responsible? And why do these people think the rules don't apply to them when it comes to spending your money? These are questions that I cannot answer on the Alan Osborne Show on the 4th of July. So remember the Constitution. Remember the preamble. Remember your schoolhouse rock. We, the people, demand better than this. And we don't have it American-wide. It's time we better stand up before we lose this country. And it starts with accountability of ass clowns like this behind me, and this guy, and this guy, and this guy. Yeah, that's just what it is. That's the problem. That's the problem, because they buds with this guy, and we can't see how he spends his money either. That's the Alan Osborne Show on the 4th of July. Celebrate your independence. Somebody died and paid for it in blood over the last few hundred years. Be thankful you live in America. Having traveled all over the world, I can say no matter how bad it is, it's always still the best. Y'all keep them straight out there because they can't keep themselves straight. I'm Alan Osborne. Stay tuned for the next episode where we talk about just how dumb is Chaz. And I'll define it for you. See you next time. Y'all keep them straight.